It is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. It is important to view knowledge as sort of a semantic tree. Make sure you understand the fundamental principles, the trunk and big branches, before you get into the leaves, ash details, or there is nothing for them to hang on to. You get paid in direct proportion to the difficulty of problems you solve. My proceeds from the PayPal acquisition were $180 million. I put $100 million in SpaceX, $70 million in Tesla, and $10 million in Solar City. I had to borrow money for rent. You should take the approach that you're wrong. Your goal is to be less wrong. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. I think it's important to reason from first principles rather than by analogy. The normal way we conduct our lives is we reason by analogy. We are doing this because it's like something else that was done, or it is like what other people are doing. You boil things down to the most fundamental truths, and then reason up from there. I think it would be great to be born on Earth and die on Mars. Just hopefully, not at the point of impact. Constantly seek criticism. A well-thought-out critique of whatever you're doing is as valuable as gold. No, I don't ever give up. I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated. If you need inspiration, don't do it. I'm not trying to be anyone's savior. I'm just trying to think about the future and not be sad. The first step is to establish that something is possible, then probability will occur. The idea of lying on a beach as my main thing just sounds like the worst. It sounds horrible to me. I would go bonkers. I would have to be on serious drugs. I'd be super-duper bored. I like high intensity. I came to the conclusion that we should aspire to increase the scope and scale of human consciousness in order to better understand what questions to ask. Really, the only thing that makes sense is to strive for greater collective enlightenment. Any product that needs a manual to work is broken. In terms of the internet, it's like humanity acquiring a collective nervous system, whereas previously we were more like a collection of cells that communicated by diffusion. With the advent of the internet, it was suddenly like we got a nervous system. It's a hugely impactful thing. One of the really tough things is figuring out what questions to ask. Once you figure out the question, then the answer is relatively easy. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better. When I was a little kid, I was really scared of the dark, but then I came to understand dark just means the absence of photons in the visible wavelength 400 to 700 nanometers. Then I thought, well, it's really silly to be afraid of a lack of photons. Then I wasn't afraid of the dark anymore after that. One of the biggest mistakes we made was trying to automate things that are super easy for a person to do, but super hard for a robot to do. Every person in your company is a vector. Your progress is determined by the sum of all vectors. I could go and buy one of the islands in the Bahamas and turn it into my personal fiefdom, but I am much more interested in trying to build and create a new company. Life needs to be more than just solving problems every day. You need to wake up and be excited about the future. Don't confuse schooling with education. I didn't go to Harvard, but the people that work for me did. I really like computer games, but then if I made really great computer games, how much effect would that have on the world? If you buy a ticket to hell, it isn't fair to blame hell. Stop being patient and start asking yourself, how do I accomplish my 10-year plan in 6 months? You will probably fail, but you will be a lot further ahead of the person who simply accepted it was going to take 10 years. My children didn't choose to be born, I chose to have children. They owe me nothing, I owe them everything. If the rules are such that you can't make progress, then you have to fight the rules. I was raised by books, and then my parents. Education is basically downloading data and algorithms into your brain. Science is discovering the essential truths about what exists in the universe. Engineering is about creating things that never existed. At its heart, wokeness is divisive, exclusionary, and hateful. It basically gives mean people a shield to be mean and cruel, armored in false virtue. Never chase the next hot thing. Stop trying to chase the wave. You will never catch it. You always, for the most part, find out about that stuff too late. Instead, do what you are really passionate about, what you really love. That will position you before the wave even hits, and you will find out about whatever it is before the wave starts, before it gets hot, and that is how you take advantage. There have to be reasons that you get up in the morning and you want to live. Why do you want to live? What's the point? What inspires you? What do you love about the future? If you're not concerned about AI safety, you should be. Vastly more risk than North Korea. When I was a child, there's one thing I said: I never want to be alone. That's what I would say.